And you've just heard Save Face, which is a track from Russell Stewart's new EP, Scrap Metal Mixtape. And I'm so pleased to be joined by Russell now. Hello, Russell.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. And what can you tell us about Scrap Metal Mixtape?
It's been a long time coming.
I'm going to jump in here because I was thinking as I was looking past, I love your music, you know that.
Yeah, thank you.
And you always leave us with a gap between releases,
Yeah,
often, perhaps a single a year. So this has been a long time you've been working up to this.
yeah, definitely. I think it's mad to think how long ago it was, but like almost 4 years ago when I put out my first EP.
Yeah,
Um, that was like such a huge process that whole year, and then I think I was just on a bit of burnout the
right.
year afterwards. I was, yeah, struggling to keep going with things. I think I just needed some time to sort of take a step back and just figure out what I wanted to do next and just like do other things, live a bit of life and that sort of thing. And it is, I mean, it is a struggle for everyone now to keep doing music things and
Sure.
to keep on top of everything. And I was like, not, I was like, I'll just not push it for a wee while and I'll
Okay.
just live life a bit and keep going, do other things. I maybe sat in that a wee bit too long because then it was like not life getting in the way, it was me getting in the way. But yeah, got there eventually and managed to make myself put it out.
So have the
Um,
sort of the song's been with you for a while.
yeah, trying to think between the different songs, they kind of go in wee couples. There's a couple that are really old. Save Face, just there's like years and years and years ago I wrote that. There's a few that are from like a year or two ago. And then the most recent one's Never Again. I started writing that 1 years ago, just the chorus, and then finished it recently. Um, but they just kind of felt so. I had an idea of what I wanted to do when I did this like self-produced mixtape thing, and a few of them were on it. And then I had a kind of possibles, and then Never Again weaseled its way in and knocked another one out. So maybe you'll hear the other one someday.
So, I mean, the name Scrap Metal Mixtape, where does that come from?
So it's like a wee nod to my past. Like 10 years ago, I used to go to this wee tapas bar called Labadega.
Oh, yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
yes, and that's where I met so many musicians, so many people who now make up the Glasgow and wider Scottish music scene. We all like met there doing wee open mics, wee jams, just having like crazy wee fun musical nights. And a lot of people have sort of referenced it over the years in different in songs and
Yeah.
names of EPs and albums and stuff. Um, but it's a shame it closed down a few years ago, and that was a very sad event. And now it is a scrap metal yard.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to
So
say I know that area very well, and that whole
yes,
bit. And it's you're absolutely right. There's so many people I've spoken to over the years, or even just in other places that there's something to be written about the kind of musical history of that place
yeah.
because so many folk met there, or made
Mm.
music there, or made connections there.
I mean, like some of my like closest friends, we like forged our friendship there over music and having just hilarious, funny nights.
So, what was it for those who don't know? This was a tapas place. It was off the beaten track.
Mm.
It was Scotstoun area. Would that be how you would?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it about it that kind of brought everyone together and made it so magical?
I don't know. That's the kind of thing you can't
Put it to
sort
work.
of rationalize. It's just
Yeah.
kind of one of those magic things that you look back on and you're like, wow, that really was special. Um, it was my friend Julian, who you'll know from Awkward
Yeah.
Family
Yeah.
Portraits,
Yeah.
Julian Santa Maria. He started the open mic nights there and just brought so many people together. And yeah, it was really special.
Yeah. Now, you said that this has been a long time coming, and in the past, there's been long periods between releases. And I wondered because the production in your records is always really high, and I wondered if you were a bit of a perfectionist in that sense. Yes,
Yes.
yeah. So that's another reason it takes a while to release.
Yes, I definitely was. I'm trying to get over that. This putting out this project, I guess, was me challenging that in myself, I guess, because I mean, I've been like small producing for years and like been making demos, tons of demos, doing that, getting better and better. And I was always like, with the people I've worked with over the years for different projects of mine, I've always like zeroed in on the producing and been really tried to be involved to just like learn about it and ask them constantly ask them what they're doing and why and how does that work, to their annoyance probably. But yeah, I've just like loved that side of things and I've always wanted to get better. And I just knew, I mean, I guess why I was putting it off for so many years, I was like, oh, I'll do it when I get a bit better. I'll do it when I get better. But it's like you'll never do it if you keep saying that. Um, so I did. I just kind of forced myself to go over it and be like, yeah, there's a couple things that are a bit imperfect about it. It's not going to be the best sounding record. It's my first project in that sense, doing it myself, and just sort of getting over that hump has really sort of cleared a blockage in my mind.
Yeah.
So it's good.
That is so interesting. The first time I heard your early singles, I thought this is someone that's going for the kind of perfect pop song. I mean
Mm.
that in the production, in the, I could see that you were, or hear that you were trying for perfection.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that is definitely fair to say.
But that's interesting that you feel, well, now you've got to get it out at some point. I'm just thinking, I've spoken to many writers over the years, and sometimes there can be a similar type of thing. It's that, when do I let this go? When do
Mm,
I say this is, in inverted commas, finished?
mm.
And some people will then say, oh, I would have kept tinkering, I would have changed things, I would. Eventually, you've got to get it out there.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm less precious even about like the writing process. Um, yeah, like sometimes I'll have written something, started performing it, and even if it's a bit, there's things I maybe would have changed, I'll just keep them as they were because I'm like, oh, that was just a snapshot of
Yeah.
what it was at the time. Like, I think I've always been a bit more imperfect about that. Maybe because I've just been a bit more secure in my writing. Um, Whereas I think producing, it's that sort of imposter syndrome of it. It's like I'm coming at it, still learning, still trying to do better. It's like I feel like, oh, it has to be perfect, or else people will turn around and say no. But no, I'm really happy with how it
Yeah.
sounds and like proud of myself for doing it. So
So you should, but yeah, I think you did. You set a high bar from the start, and that can be something to do.
yeah.
Um, what is your writing process, out of interest?
Um, Usually I feel like it's the opposite of what other people do. Um, I tend to start with, I mean, I'm writing like all the time on my phone and we journals and stuff like that. I usually just start with words. I'm always like writing down wee phrases or just like wee poems and stuff like that all the time. And they usually have a sort of rhythmic feel to them. So
Mhm.
usually when I'm thinking, okay, this could be a song or at least a poem, I have the words and the rhythm first and the sort of melody. I'll even sometimes have like the idea of the chords or at least the feeling of the song in my head. And usually like the melodies last, the
Yeah.
sort of last thought to it. Whereas I know a lot of people like start with the melody and then add words and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it usually starts with the words and the rhythm and how they sort of interact. And if I'm making a demo for something, it'll usually start with like a drum beat or a beat or uh, some sort of computer beat, sort of put with the words on top, and then I'll fill it out.
So when you write lyrics, I mean, I'm thinking to some of your lyrics, you often have kind of killer lines that that really jump out from the song.
Thank you.
Is that something that you're kind of looking for? That'll then come together for a song.
Yeah, I guess because I'll sometimes pull different ideas together, or they're not. I'll have in my head that they're all connected, but they sit separately in my phone or in notes, and then I pull them together, and I feel like they've each had their wee moment to shine on their own, so I let them shine together. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
try,
no,
I try
absolutely.
and try and make each line pop
Yeah,
as much as the last one. That's
yeah.
what I tried to do.
Is it just you, or are there other people involved in the EP?
It's just me who wrote it.
Yeah, yeah. And in terms of the music side of things as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love. writing with other people. It's like one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Um, just because it's so exciting and so fun. Um, I also like exposing, and that's what feels like so satisfying doing it. Um, like just sitting together with someone and just kind of pouring your heart out and making something out of it,
Yeah.
and connecting in those ways. But yeah, for this one, it just turned out that all the songs were ones I'd written myself.
Right.
Yeah.
I know the reason I asked is because going back to the kind of group of people from Bodega, I know that you
Mm.
work with other people, you collaborate with other people, but this time round, you know, these are mine, and I'm going to see this through.
Yeah, I guess. Um, Not in a way it's like, oh, I don't want to work with people,
No, 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 no,
but
no,
just
because
in a way, sort of,
I
yeah,
know you do work with a lot of
yeah.
people, and often play. I'm talking about that. Then, if you came to do these songs live, I don't know if you've got any plans to do it. Would it just be you, or would you have other people
No,
around
I
you?
think I would. I'd want to fill it out. I haven't done a band show in years, so I do want to come back to that at some point. Um, but yeah, I feel like this is my first step back into that world. Um, I can start to collaborate with people again.
So I was thinking about musical influences, and I know that's a kind of corny question that's often asked, but I'm asking this because there's not many people I think making the kind of soul pop music that you do. Not at least not in Scotland. I don't know if you
Mm.
agree with that.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. So who are your influences?
Oh, a lot of people. I mean, there's people I loved when I was like a teenager that really influenced me. People like kind of like the big names, Amy Winehouse, Stevie Wonder,
Mm.
Lauryn Hill. Um, so I feel like they were big influences back then. And then getting a wee bit older, I found like Leanne Havis.
Right.
She was a massive influence when I started to grow up as a teenager. Um, Loved her music. I started to learn guitar playing her songs, trying to copy like, um, I think the first cover I ever posted on the internet was one of her songs. Um, so that was like a good influence. Then who else? Nail. Do you
Hmm.
know Nail?
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
her music so much. She was a huge influence as well. Um, she kind of showed. I was kind of figuring out how I could make my music. Sort of when I was at college for a couple of years doing music, and then sort of into the second year, I was like, I write like poetry and like singer songwritery way, but I kind of jazz influenced and R&B and soul, and I love electronic music as well. It's like how did these worlds marry together? Like I don't know what to do. And then like by magical and like she just appeared in one of my like playlists, and she just marries all those worlds together so perfectly. And I was like, oh, so you can do it, and it just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
opened my mind to like how you can do this. Um, Love her music; she's incredible. So I think they're pretty big influences on me. Who else? One more influence. Oh, do you know Nick Hakim?
I do know that name. Yeah.
He's brilliant. And I mean, Van Havison and Neo are both from London, I think. He's from New York, I think.
Right. Yeah.
But he makes really stunning music. Very, he produces his own music as well. It's very sort of neo soul based, but really intricately put together songs and interesting the way he records things through tapes. And he's got like a really commanding, sensitive voice. At the same time, he can just explode and like screams on some of his tracks. And then it comes back to this like such commanding male vocal, which you don't always hear a lot.
Yeah.
That's so soft. And yeah, love his music. I saw him play in Glasgow like 2018 or something like that. And that was a really special night.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear. Because I was thinking American R&B, kind of soul side of things, and I think when you hear a Russell Stewart song, you kind of know straight away that it is, and I think that's because there's not many other people doing it too.
Mm.
Um, and we said that you've been in and around the kind of Glasgow music scene for a while. You feel it's in a healthy state, in a good place?
Yeah, I feel like it's nice to see, especially recently, some people really getting their flowers
Yeah.
and really getting recognition for what they've been working on for so many years. Um, which is, I don't know, I think you kind of get in the flow of things. You're just like, oh, of course they're doing this. Of course people think they're good. But it's like when you look back at like what they've grown from, it's like it's really special to see the places they are now. I don't know. It's like you kind of need to stop yourself and think. It's the same way where you need to remind yourself like where you've been, where you come from. It's like you need to stop yourself and be like, no, this is incredible. This is great. Like this is wonderful. Um, but yeah, and at the same time, life of a musician, constant stress. But
Of
you
course.
got to recognize those
But
lovely
that's it.
moments.
That, you saying that, I wonder if that's something you are learning to apply to yourself, that you could
Mm,
think, oh, this is amazing. This is,
yeah,
a great thing to be doing and to have done. Great back catalogue as well.
yeah.
I think sometimes you can
Thank
be
you.
so close on things that it can be difficult to see.
Yeah, definitely. I had a kind of moment like that recently. I was doing backing vocals for Katie Gregson McLeod.
Mhm.
I mean, I love doing backing vocals. That's the other side of music that I love doing for different people. Um, and that was at Transmit
Mhm.
and on the main stage. And I was like,
Wow.
this is cool.
Yeah.
I played at Transmit 8 years ago on the tiny stage. Um, just me and an acoustic guitar, with some of these old songs. And I thought like that was at the time I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I had to kind of stop myself and be like, no, that's wild. Like from that to this,
Yeah.
like, and it's not that's not me performing my music. It was doing backing vocals with Katie, but it's still like this is wild
Yeah. You're
to
on
go
that
from that
stage, and
to
yeah,
this.
absolutely.
It's like I'm like standing on that big stage and I'm like this is so funny. This is so wonderful. Um, so I feel like it's a muscle you need to train. Um, just stop yourself and recognize the good things
Yeah.
because you can get
Yeah.
so worked up and so like in your lane and just like into the day to day of things and just like not celebrate the small
Yeah.
things or the big thing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, definitely something I'm trying to work on.
That's a great way of putting it, I think. Absolutely. And you mentioned Katie Gregson MacLeod there.
Mm,
Who else should we be listening to at the moment? Who else? Because you're not just a musician. I know you're a big music fan as well.
yeah,
And you're a big supporter. I often bump into you at gigs and things like that. Who else do you think we should be listening to at the moment?
definitely go listen to Gaia,
Yeah.
who I also do backing vocals for. She's lovely. I think it's incredible music, and
Gave
she
you a single
is
just recently on
yes,
yeah.
she's
Yeah.
just put out her first official single, and it's brilliant. And she's got so many cool things on the way, lots of cool music. That's yeah, someone you should keep your eye on.
Yeah. Because it's interesting. Things like that in particularly I think the Glasgow music scene, but I guess Scottish music scene more widely, people often appear on each other's records. There's a real support network of
Yeah,
whether it's playing or singing or whatever it might be, or even producing. There seems to be
hmm
that kind of group that will jump and help each other out.
definitely. That's why the Scottish music scene's so good. I mean, it is like
Yeah,
everyone's
absolutely.
so just aside from being supportive of each other, everyone's like so collaborative and up for just trying things out,
Yeah,
and it leads to such cool projects being formed or such like fun interactions and fun just events and it really I feel like that's something that like enriches the life and like kind of nourishes you a bit is having those collaborative moments and seeing the sort of cross especially like cross genre stuff.
yeah,
It's like it gives you a chance to do stuff you would never do on your own.
yeah,
And like the people I do backing vocals for, some of it's similar to my music, a lot of it, and then a lot of it's not. Um, but I love doing it. I love getting to sing these different genres, these different types of tracks with different people. It's just, it really does enrich your life a wee bit because, like I said, you can get so stressed, especially doing your own stuff, being like a solo artist as well. You can get so in your head about your own things, which is great. It's so fulfilling doing your own music, but getting the chance to be a part of someone else's music can really open your mind a bit and make for really special moments.
I think that idea of having an open mind is interesting as well because
Mm,
I think the biggest thing I've seen change over the last 10 or 20 years in Scottish music is that cross-genre collaboration, jazz and hip hop and
mm.
soul and indie and folk and all these things. The kind of what used to be kind of boundaries don't, move from what you are. That seems to have gone completely, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it is. And oh, it just makes things more special, makes things more interesting, and yeah, keeps life exciting.
Are you working on anything else you can tell us about at the moment, or is it all about the EP?
It's all about the mixtape right now. My head is just all in the mixtape land. I'm trying to do because I put it out as like a surprise release. Um, I was like, I'll do that, do it a bit differently, and then I'll sort of dedicate the summer afterwards to promoting it and talking about it and doing the stuff you kind of do
Yep.
would normally do a pre-release. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of that now, trying to dedicate like a week to each track. Already losing track of my schedule, but I'm trying. Um, so yeah, I've got videos to edit, I've got social media to conquer.
Yeah.
Um, but it's good. I feel good like doing that because I feel like I've let social media stuff slide sometimes, so I'm just going heavy at it.
Well, we're about to hear another track from the EP now, but first, Russell, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you for having me. This is lovely.
And this is Russell Stewart, and Never Again.